And now we're on. So welcome everyone to the Irreverent Skeptics Hangout. Yeah, so we have this going. Hi, Cecil and Tom. This is officially our shout out. I may keep this thing around and just see how much more god awful I can make it over time.
Here's a challenge.
In it though, well, it started out with the I Heart Cecil and Tom that we turned into, more appropriate for men's room stuff. So there's that.
I'm embarrassed to be here now. Okay, I'm gonna come with a bag over my head.
Now's your time to back out. Now was the time to back out. And I apologize to Mom.
Yeah, you should. You bad boy, you. Hey, Mike. Hey, Chris. What's up?
I was telling Mike earlier that my mom told me recently she was watching our last Hangout, and I was like, oh, wow, really? What in the hell have I said?
Oh, man.
So it's the holidays, and I see Dumbass is appropriately adorned. Excellent.
Hello.
Woohoo! Oh, man, I was going to do mine. Okay, you beat me to it. Yours is nicer.
It's not too late. Go suit up.
All right, hang on.
Excellent.
Oh,
I'm afraid to see what this ends up being.
I decided to just put on the hat, but when my family gets together for Christmas, I usually dress up as the mayor of Christmastown.
So you have a full-on costume you didn't wear? Tisk, tisk. I'm sitting in front of a makeshift glory hole.
Well, the rest of you didn't get dressed up in anything I see here.
I just woke up.
Mike's like, I don't know why I'm here.
Yeah.
Well, I figure, Mike, you can't be too ashamed since you're on cognitive dissonance is coming this week. So
Yeah.
yeah. So this, I'm okay with this. Like, yeah, Mike's fine with this. Like, he was on the Cecil and Tom. He'll be fine with this.
Yep, we recorded last night. It should be Monday.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
How did that go?
Went well. Yeah, we had a good time. I kind of tried to cut loose a little bit. When you listen to my show, and it's really dry. I tried to spice it up a little bit, and we had a good time. And I think it went well.
Excellent. So we're going to talk about holidays. First, though, let's talk about so Dumbass. What's going up next on your podcast? Plural.
Yeah, well, I'm planning on inviting a couple of different people onto the Invisible Sky Monster podcast. I've got a couple people lined up there, so hopefully I can get the time on. I'm planning to invite Terry from the Amateur Skeptics. She's new there, and I was thinking of inviting on Finn from the Skepticons.
Very cool. And Mike, how about you? What's coming up next for you? You just finished JFK. I was just saying I'm partway through that. Got about 5 minutes into it, then I had to hurry up and get my glory hole prop done. So.
Yeah, I'm planning vaccines next.
Oh, excellent.
Then a kind of a year-end wrap-up show, kind of a year-end conspiracy, because this has been we had a bumper crop of them this year, so I think it's worth it. Trying to pull together then Wi-Fi, dirty electricity, all that kind of, those type of conspiracies. So I think that's the order.
I don't know about a Wi-Fi conspiracy. I'm interested.
Yeah, what's dirty electricity?
Well, there's,
It powers shit like this.
You get battery and jumper cables.
There's that. Let's see. There's like, there's these people who believe they have a sensitivity to electrical frequencies.
Oh, okay.
And one of the I'm an electrical designer, and I deal with dirty electricity all the time, where it's, well, computers are notorious for creating spurious currents back into the distribution system. It's kind of neat, what it does, and from an electrical distribution situation, these stray currents actually get trapped in transformers and causes the transformers to overheat, which cause them to fail prematurely. So when designing, a lot of times we may have to design extra capacitors, things like that, into the system to reduce those currents. And but then the crazies have latched on to that as these, because they're these harmonics. How to explain it? If you imagine your 60 hertz current, time every third, you multiply it by 3, and those are, well, your harmonics are like, if it's 60, then there'd be a harmonic at 120, 240, and multiples of that, and every third is the nastier ones. Well, of course, the crazies have latched onto that third harmonic, the third, sixth, ninth harmonic, as being what causes humans to have problems. And there's actually no data. I don't think there's any data ever. I haven't really dug really deep, but I don't think there's been any studies of third harmonic effects on people.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's the harmonic or which harmonic, but certainly I've noticed that with women in particular, vibrators tend to have an emotional impact, and so maybe they got something. Maybe there's something in vibrators. Maybe that's the third harmonic in vibrators that's causing them to cause people to go crazy. Yeah,
yeah.
Making them just a little bit loony. I'm not sure.
That's possible.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get a grant to study that.
There we go.
John, do you want to head that up or write that proposal?
Yes, I will write that proposal. Wow, that was good. That was an excellent tie-in.
I'll round up some test subjects and.
Can we all interview them?
Well, we can all interview them. Yeah, I'm especially looking forward to the control group. I don't know. And yeah, there's a double entendre.
All I'm going to say to that is beware of what kind of volunteers you get for that study.
Indeed. Well,
it may not be what you're picturing right now.
I'm gonna let it go because I don't want to get down that rabbit hole, so to speak.
So there should be an award for Carlton making the first. Not exactly the first dick joke, because I guess I had that one pinned, but the first verbal dick joke was Carlton's.
Oh boy, yay, me. Okay, do I get a trophy?
I never set that as an actual goal for.
John, for a couple
to happen
bucks
every time.
I think for a couple bucks, you really should go buy a couple trophies, like at one of those bowling trophy shops for first dick joke of the week award, and then mail those out to us, and we can make a little shelf behind us.
Oh wow, that's
kind of like the fickle finger of fate. Remember that? That's probably before your time, but yeah.
I will put that on the suggestions list and kick that around a bit.
Sure thing. And maybe we could actually rate them and have it be represented.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe best dick joke.
Well, by the number of testicles. So is it a 2-nut joke, a 3-nut joke? And then you could get the appropriate trophy in your house. Okay, enough for that. Maybe a little chain you could wear outside like a cross. It's similar.
I'm not wearing a dick joke chain outside. That is not happening.
It'd be fun to explain that. You get into a lot of interesting conversations that way.
Welcome, Michael McElroy.
Greetings. Do I see a penis on your whiteboard?
You are so far behind.
Well, it was I Heart Cecil and Tom. And I decided that was a little too nice for what you might see in a men's room with a glory hole. So I made that. I made that I Cock and Balls Heart Cecil and Tom.
Nice. Appropriate. In case you guys watch Howdy.
I'm not I'm not one to apologize for things, but again, this time I do apologize to my mother.
And Mom, close your ears, But I'm thinking, John, for next week, maybe you could make, if we're actually supposed to utilize, if we're really supposed to utilize that, possibly you could make that hole a little larger on your board. Okay.
And now I need a shower, so you guys carry on without me.
Cheers. Okay, wait a minute. I got to tell you a story from this week. Okay. But I'm curious. Sad story, sort of, but let's see how you guys pick it up. I've got a neighbor, and when I moved in here about a year ago, he's a very nice guy, and I had some trouble with my car when I first moved in. He was gracious enough. He drove my wife back and forth to work for a week. He took the car to a repair guy he knew, and, he was very, very helpful trying to get us all settled in. A very nice guy. Big, huge house next door. He was married for 47 years. And his wife, about a year prior to me moving in, had a car accident, and she had some brain damage as a result of that. And because of the brain damage, her personality changed dramatically, okay, to the point where she used to be a very nice, mild-mannered, Clark Kent, Superman. She was very nice, quiet, mild-mannered, and now she would scream at everything and would go, off the deep end at nothing, and okay. So that had drug on for a while, and she finally decided she wanted a divorce. She couldn't live with this guy anymore. And I talked to both of them a little bit about it, and he was more like, it broke his heart, but he kept saying, if that's what she wants, I can't stop her. All I can do is support her and hope she gets better, or hope I can, be part of her life still. Well, anyway, so it was all very nice. Around August, I guess, she had come over the house 2 or 3 times. She'd moved out to get her stuff, and every time the police had to show up and kind of, play hall monitor there and keep them from yelling at each other and screaming at each other. So anyway, that happened, and then in August, all of a sudden, I didn't see this guy anymore. And I didn't think of it too much until it was like the middle of September, and I still hadn't seen his cars out front. And I thought, well, maybe after 47 years in divorce, the guy went to Hawaii or took a vacation, or, he had plenty of money, so, whatever. Didn't think about it much. So just this weekend, now, so that's been August, September, October, November, so almost 4 months. I was out, taking the car out, going to Walmart, and there were 2 cars in his driveway, and it was his grandson and his grandson's fiance. And they were on the porch. And so I waved, and I said, hey, when's the old man coming back? I miss him around here. And she came out, and she's like, well, he's not going to be coming back for a while. And I'm thinking, oh, that says, either he's found a great beach with some tequila or margaritas, or he's in the hospital with cancer or something, What didn't occur to me was that he was in jail because he took a shotgun and went and shot his wife back in August. Jesus. Yes, with birdshot, mind you. He didn't kill her, okay? But I bet it hurt like an SOB. But I think that was the intent, and I think that's what the police think too. So he's locked up, and has been locked up since, and she says will be locked up for quite some time. So, and she says he just lost his mind. He just, this was his whole life, and it basically fell apart. And he just she kept pushing his buttons now, and so he just got to the point where he exploded. So I'm curious, how do you guys view that? Is this a guy, for example, is he a threat to society? Is this a guy that needs to be locked up? Is this a guy that just needs to get some help and back on the street? What do you think? Because I've been worried about it, because, like I said, he was the person that I knew was the most wonderful guy, generous, kind, not a mean bone in his body. So this is totally, at least from what I knew, out of character.
Well, happy holidays.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I took it from one end to the other, didn't I?
Wow.
I have no idea. I
would not know how to assess something like that. Is he a danger to society? I mean, well, he did shoot at someone. So there's that.
Yeah. And I don't want to trivialize it by saying, yeah, but it was his wife. But
I would hope not.
That's okay. Okay. The women's group are mounting they're outside now. No, but I just mean, it was obviously directed at her because she caused him pain in what she was doing. Only way I can say it.
I guess one argument to make that is like, what if it was a neighbor that had caused him distress, or a person on the highway that caused him a lot of distress, and I don't know, maybe he should at least be evaluated for whether or not he's able to mitigate that, able to deal with that somehow.
Yeah, but do you remember that? Do you remember the show that it was The Recruit with what the hell is his name? Hoo-ha, Scent of a Woman.
Al Pacino?
Al Pacino. It was with Al Pacino, and he was a member of the CIA, and he brought this kid in to recruit him, and part of it was going through the CIA's training facility, and they had this mock thing where he got caught, and then they were trying to break him, but he didn't realize it was mock. And he said something. He says everybody's got a breaking point, whether it's 1 day, 1 hour, 10 weeks. Eventually, everybody's going to break. I mean, can't we say this?
Somebody else takes the last of the stuffing.
Well,
yeah.
Well, like, life can really really get bad sometimes. I mean, I'm going through something right now, and I don't think I should probably mention it right here because it'll just bring the whole thing right down. But it can really mess with your mind.
Yeah. Well, and that's my thing. I mean, if everybody's got a breaking point, then is it really necessary to lock somebody up simply because they reached their breaking point?
Well, here's the thing. So he reached a breaking point between himself and his spouse, where he took a shotgun loaded with birdshot and shot at her. Why couldn't he, instead of shooting, have walked away? That would be my thing. I was like, at that point, he has gone beyond any kind of, like, maybe, okay, so I reached my breaking point. Well, when I reach my breaking point, I'm walking away. I'm not shooting at anyone.
Yeah, but but that's my question. Isn't that a medical condition? I mean, when you have a nervous breakdown.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't think we remove somebody's responsibility just because they have a medical condition. So,
really? So if he had a tumor, we'd still throw him in prison?
I mean, the cause of the behavior isn't going to change what the behavior is, so the response should be to the behavior, not to the intention.
We don't know what went on in this.
I mean, maybe
we don't know exactly how it went down in this case either, though. I mean, she could have been really pushing his buttons, and he had that ready. He might have just intended to menace it at her to get her out of his face, and then it went off in his hands or something.
Well, I can add, this didn't happen at his house. He went to her house. So this was not in the heat of passion. This was a planned reaction.
Yeah, that kind of goes back to what I was saying. And like, so even regardless of the condition why he did it, maybe he had a tumor, maybe he had some illness, maybe he reached his breaking point. Well, he's exhibited the capacity to carry out that violent behavior. So maybe prison's not the answer, but some manner of control or some manner of observation some amount of time is. But I don't know. I can't say that I would say prison is necessarily the answer, but there has to be some evaluation, and him being detained until that evaluation is complete. So there's some kind of evaluation done. I think that absolutely, in my opinion, seems like a good thing.
Well, you need some sort of response, but exactly what the response would be highly dependent on like whether this is normal behavior for them or if there's some sort of contingency.
I just think that I guess what bothers me the most about it, I think that as human beings in a society, somebody can have a life full of nothing but good deeds, and we consider them a good person, and then they do something like this, and let's just say he killed her. Then all of a sudden, it's like that one deed in our mind seems to wipe out a lifetime of being a good person, that somehow the person becomes the bad deed, that they are now evil, as opposed to being a generally good person who's good 99% of the time and had an off day. I'm not trying to trivialize it, but I'm just trying to say I think people have both characteristics within them, good and bad, all the time. I don't think simply because a bad one slips out that all the good ones somehow vanish, or we should treat them as though all the good ones have vanished.
Well, that's also an example of the fundamental attribution error, where people take one thing about a person and they attribute it to some deep-seated characteristic of that person, also rather than being a situational thing.
Yeah, like if somebody accidentally backs into your car in a parking lot and suddenly they're a terrible driver when really they could be a professional driver or something.
It kind of goes to the...
I'm taking my medicine now so I don't come shoot you guys.
Okay, good.
But it does kind of go back to that...
I appreciate that.
Cheers.
Yeah. Well, I would say it goes back to the idea that, you can do all sorts of good in your life. That one bad thing, everyone's going to latch on to. I mean, that idea, bad gets more attention than any good. Any bad event is going to get more attention than good.
Good.
Yeah.
I think I would say that one action doesn't have to define that person. But again, like I said before, so this person was very generous and helped the community. Maybe he mowed other people's lawns. He did lots of favors for people. That's still a thing. Nonetheless, those things don't harm someone, whereas a violent act does. So I will stand by what I said. Is like, even though that may not define that person, that certainly is cause to evaluate that person for the potential of that happening again.
Yeah, I mean, Hitler might have been a great daycare worker. I mean, he might have been great with kids. Okay, probably not at a Jewish day camp, but no, I know I couldn't help that one.
I was the one that was going to be the bad one today.
I'm getting all the trophies today. Okay, no, but I'm just.
If we get any hate mail or messages, I'm directing them all to you.
Yeah, send hate mail directly to Carlton.
Hey, somebody's got a question there, by the way. Did you see him on Cryptonomicon?
Q&A.
Yeah, well, we can address those quickly. So yeah, the first one question says, I know this has nothing to do with the holidays, but I was curious about digital currency. I just got done reading the Cryptonomicon, and that was one of the things discussed in it. I have a vague idea, but what exactly is it?
I've got a whole bunch of flus still, so, you know.
I can't give what I think is a comprehensive enough answer to that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand.
Not off the top of my head. I know a lot about it, but off the top of my head, I don't think I can give a really good answer. Maybe I can find some links and.
Yeah, I did a little bit of digging into things like Bitcoin and stuff like that. I never really invested in it a whole lot, and I know that the whole mining process requires like supercomputers that cost thousands of dollars to put together now. But I guess the principle of it is the idea that currency, as even just the paper currency that we have, it has a value that's basically just the agreed upon value for goods and services. And so if people are willing to exchange just electronic bits of data in some secure fashion for goods and services, then it's equally valid as any other form of currency that we have, as long as it's not backed by some sort of a fungible, like a tangible good.
Yeah. Well, a lot of us just do like online banking and buying stuff online and using Interac at the stores. We're pretty much using digital currency.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's not no papers being shipped around or anything like that.
Yeah, I'd say 90% of my transactions are digital currency transactions anymore. I rarely have much, if any, cash on hand.
One of the things I didn't understand about Bitcoin, though, and I'm like you, I really don't know enough about it, but was the concept that they have only minted, if you will. There's a fixed amount of currency that is being deployed over n number of years, and when it reaches that point, that's it, and then that just stays in circulation. So that seems a bit odd. I mean, that's certainly not how normal currency would work.
Yeah, I don't really understand how that's going to be managed, because it's a decentralized process, so there isn't some server somewhere. I mean, I guess people would just have to agree to write the software so that it won't generate once a certain quantity has been generated. But I don't know. I haven't really looked into that. But
yeah, I tried to look into it. It's really confusing, actually, and I'm really concerned, especially with Bitcoin. There's already been frauds committed.
Oh yeah.
So hackers have got. I think some of the software is open source, so you can go
there was a few years ago. There was one of the big exchanges got hacked, and people tried to overinflate the value of it for like an hour, and they were trying to make off with a whole bunch of money, but I guess they got caught in it, and everybody just excluded their digital wallet from the whole community of wallets or whatever, so nobody took money from them.
And when I first heard about that, I thought, oh yay, it's even more valid now.
Yeah.
People are counterfeiting it. Like, that makes it more valid in a sense.
Wasn't there an article about that too, that the federal government came out and finally made a decision that they were going to treat it as legal tender? Because prior, even though it had the sort of the agreed upon value for services, it wasn't legally considered legal tender, and so it didn't fall under any of the rules or guidelines that banks have to operate under.
I know that they're trying to push for exchanges to fall under some sort of regulation, but I don't know how they would. Because I mean, if it's basically just a digital bartering system with digital things you're trading. So like if you can't tell, the government can't tell you, I want to trade a chicken for a car and say, hey, you can't do that. They can't tell you not to do that. If both people agree upon it, then that's one expensive chicken, but So I guess it's the same concept with Bitcoin. You're just
car.
One really terrible car. Yeah, but I mean,
if you did that, if you traded the chicken for the car or 10 chickens for the car, do you have to pay taxes on the car, since there was not a monetary exchange?
I wouldn't think you would, and I think that's where they're trying to get into this with Bitcoin, is figure out a way to
tax us again,
to make a little Skrilla off the Bitcoin.
Well, in Pennsylvania, I don't know if my mic is live, but in Pennsylvania, when you go to set up your registration and all the bureaucracy, that part of it, you have to tell them like a certain value. So I bought a car for my dad. Technically, I had to put like for $100, and then they charged me like $7 or something. Like they found the way to make their money off a thing that was basically a gift.
Yeah, my parents sold me a car for $1 for the same reason.
Yeah, and they wouldn't let me do it for $1, so I had to say I paid them $100 so they could have their $7 or whatever. So yeah.
On a slightly related note, anecdotally, years ago, I bought a car for about $350. That was easily worth $500.
Did it have all four wheels?
Yeah, I will always refer to it as my death trap Mustang, and it was a death trap. I'm surprised I managed to survive driving that thing.
Stick shift replaced with an actual stick.
There were home appliance parts in the motor. Like I looked at that at one point and was like, I don't know how this thing runs. It must be some
shifter
kind
knob
of
was
magic.
a blade from a blender.
Were there gerbils involved? Was there a hamster wheel? What was going on?
Not that I saw,
Sheep.
but I don't doubt that.
We bought from the same guy, John. I had a Death Trap Corvair at one point.
That's got to be at least worth 5 chickens.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It depends on how much gas is in the gas tank, too. I don't know what the gas was going for at that time. It might have been valuable. Mustangs can hold a lot of gas.
Man, that could double in value. Shoot.
Yeah.
Gas in OKC is pretty much free, by the way, PS. Like, here it's $3.37 or something, and in OKC, when I was there, $3.19. Like, what?
Yeah,
What's going on?
When I left
right
2
now.
weeks ago, it was $2.59, I think
Shut
I paid.
What?
Yeah, okay, now
$2.59 per gallon.
Mike and I have to be laughing at that comment. I know Mike is, because I can still remember 18 cents a gallon, okay?
Yeah, right.
I remember
18
It's
cents.
99 cents a gallon. 99
I remember-
Fuck,
I
I
remember-
could build my station wagon.
I can remember when it crossed the dollar line, but yeah.
Uh-huh. 99,
Yeah, I
it was
remember.
70 cents, 77 cents the night I got my tattoo at 22 years old.
My first car I could fill up with a $20 bill and gets a little bit of change back.
Mm-hmm. My Dodge Neon.
And
Mm-hmm.
that was
$20
a
bill
12-gallon
was.
tank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the holidays.
Yes,
So
the
the
holiday.
How about those things?
Well, it was
My,
fun.
I'm eating my compulsory turkey sandwich here.
My
I've already had
barnhole's trying to
I've had
fall
enough
down
turkey
over
to
here.
choke a turkey. So. No, I helped cook for some friends this Thanksgiving, which is really nice. So we all pitched in and had pie and turkey and potatoes and sweet potatoes and mac and cheese and all the goodness, greens, stuffing.
I did a vegetarian tofurkey roast, and it was far better than I thought it would be. I was like, I wonder what this is going to be like. It was way better than I thought it would be. So I was impressed. I was officially impressed.
Is there a vegetarian version of the turducken? Tofu?
I was thinking about that earlier, and all
fur.
of them sounded very obscene, so I just went with no. I did, however, on that note, years ago, I made not a turducken, but a turducken fail, which was the turkey, stuff with the duck, stuff with the chicken, stuff with pheasant, stuff with quail. And I made that for people at work. I made that for people at work, and they went ape shit over it.
Yep.
Apparently, it was absolutely delicious. I was already not eating meat by then, so I didn't eat any of it.
Did you ever watch the Vihart video on YouTube? She does one of those, but she does it as a binary tree, and then she tries to decide how to name them. So if you had 100 turkeys filled with 100 pheasants, filled with 100 quail, filled with 100 chickens, filled with 100 eggs, filled with and yeah, it's actually kind of fun.
Huh.
You have to come up with a whole.
But she makes
naming
one.
scheme.
She shows you. She actually bakes it while she's doing the math in the binary tree. So she carves up the turkey and the pheasants and the whole thing and puts them in the oven for you. Very cool.
That was probably the last. That was the last meat item I think I've cooked a few. So that was the last big thing I cooked meat-wise many years ago. It was quite the experience. It was a lot of work to get that all together.
Back to the meat side.
No, I'm good.
Well, it kind of got quiet.
It did, didn't it?
Really?
Is my mic working?
Yes.
Yes, it
Yes.
Okay, good.
That's why it was quiet, because you had it muted.
Ooh, wow.
Not sure how to take
True.
this.
I can't be offended. It's so true.
Hey-oh.
The token female should be quiet. I know my place. John has put me in my place since he's been here, so yeah.
Are you
Have
currently
I-
barefoot
have
in
I?
the kitchen?
He knows better than to suggest I go near the kitchen. But yeah, otherwise barefoot. Yeah, literally barefoot. Yes, I am. How did you know that? Well, I forgot we're all the same person. Yes, we are barefoot in the moment. Like.
Hey.
So about the holidays, I'm not really sure what the skeptical take on the holidays was. I thought this might be an interesting thing, or it may go nowhere fast. So.
Well, here's something interesting. A lot of Christians like to complain about the abbreviation Xmas, that it's trying to take the Christ out of Christmas, but this is actually a really old tradition dating back to ancient Greek times, because it's just an abbreviation, because X in the ancient Greek alphabet was the first letter of Christ.
Keep Cairo in Christmas.
Sounds like a great Egyptian saying, doesn't it?
Which book of the Christian Bible is it where Jesus was waiting for the shops to open overnight so he could get in a crowd of people and fist fight for toys?
I think that was Second Lackadaisicals.
Yes. There we go.
That's
there we go. Yeah. First hypocrites, what? Where does Santa fit into all of this?
I don't know. Oh, that was a tweet I saw along the lines of your Xmas was the somebody was saying, they always complain about Happy Holidays. They get offended when you just say Happy Holidays and not Merry Christmas. And he said holidays comes from the word holy days. They said, how can that possibly be non-religious?
Well, if you're looking for a reason to be offended, you will find one. That's all I can say to that. Like, if you really want to be offended by something, you'll find a way to be offended by it.
Well, how can
you're looking to be offended by this hangout?
Then, if it's a holy
you're looking to be offended by this hangout, you found a few reasons already.
Yeah, right. Jewish daycare centers.
John puts a damper on my holidays as a childless atheist, because I'm just supposed to have just a husk of an existence, being both of those things on Thanksgiving.
Right.
Just saying. And he doesn't even allow me to eat the baby that I usually eat on Thanksgiving by myself with my cats, surrounded by cats, festooned by cats.
Who do atheists thank on Thanksgiving, anyways?
I'm just grateful. I don't really have to aim that at anyone. I'm just grateful.
I just thank God I'm an atheist. That's the only thing I can do there.
Yeah, because
someone on Twitter or on Facebook or somewhere, I think it was maybe some op-ed somewhere, wrote a story about where do atheists turn when they're thankful and they don't have anyone to be thankful to. And the best response I saw to that was just, well, that's what we call being happy.
Yeah. Yep.
That's good.
And I have to say, our vegetarian Thanksgiving, I was not sleepy afterwards. This might be the first Thanksgiving where I was awake and chipper and lively after dinner.
Right, but then you had nothing to do.
Well, he cleaned. I couldn't believe it. He not only cooked everything, also cleaned everything. I literally had nothing to do. It was just awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Nice.
It was so convincingly meat-like that my cats were like, I want some turkey. I'm like, this is not turkey.
So basically what you're saying, he's a nice domestic boy.
Oh, he is wonderful. He is absolutely wonderful, and always wonderful.
Right,
and I'm grateful directly to him. I'm grateful to you guys. I so look forward to these hangouts. I'm grateful directly to these people, these human beings that make life worth living on Saturday.
But what about Jeebus?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, F Jeebus. I have diabetes. F Jeebus.
Who am I thankful for, or what am I thankful for, and who am I thankful to? Like my parents, my family, my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I guess.
Being invited by all of the religious people I know to their holidays, which I think is really nice. Really, very kind and warm and wonderful.
Thank you for being the majority in this country so that I can get the day off. It's very nice.
Well, unless you work at Walmart. Yeah, you mostly get the day off, yeah.
Yeah, unless it's Walmart employee, apparently. Or half of the stores around here. I was surprised.
Yeah, the bigger the city, the more stuff that's open. My hometown would be only Walmart, I think, open on Thanksgiving.
Hey, my Walmart...
They pay you extra to work on Christmas or whatever, don't they?
I don't know.
Sometimes. Some stores do.
Are they open Christmas? I don't know if they are.
My Walmart was really nice to me this Thanksgiving, so I have no complaints. I bought a tablet, a Google Nexus, 29 days ago, and I asked at the time. I said, price guarantee, what is it? Because I knew Black Friday's coming, and they're like, well, I'm not sure. It's 30 or 60 days. I'm like, okay, covered. So I come back in 29 days later as the price drops $40. I go to the counter, customer service, and the girl's like, well, oh no, she says this is it's only for 7 to 10 days. And I'm like, where is that written? Could you show me that? Not that I don't believe you, but because the other guy said 60. But yeah, and she goes, oh, well, and I swear to God, she says, oh, well, I'm a manager. They tell us these things, and I'm like, well, if you're a manager and they tell you these things, how could they tell you 7 to 10 days? It's got to be either 7 days or 10 days. It's not a range. and
that is kind of ad hoc.
and she's like, oh, well, I don't know. She says, I'll ask somebody else. So she goes ask this other manager, a manager, and he comes back and says, oh, no, it's 30 days. It's 30 days, and I'll take care of you. And he does all this, and he gave me the money back, which was really nice. But then I went back to the Walmart website to, for my own sanity, to read, and it turns out they don't have any price guarantee like that. Not if you buy it online, but they don't. There's no guarantee, right? So nobody knows what the freak is going on at Walmart.
It's improv management. Just make up the rules as you go.
Well, they actually say that on the website. They do that. They don't have rules. They let the individual. They have the 10 suggestions, and the individual stores can make up the policy, and then if corporate gets enough complaints about the policy at a local store, then they'll investigate the local store to see if they shouldn't be changing how they do things. But yeah, they're not. Isn't that weird?
In the hotel industry, they call that employee empowerment, and we were allowed to do pretty much any kind of thing that would be, good for the guests. So we were allowed, to comp a room just without checking in the policy, like do stuff like that.
Nice.
As an employee empowerment thing, but it always benefited the customer. It was never like, we're going to shorten our policy and
screw them.
Yeah, we're never going to. It was always a good thing.
Yeah,
I worked part-time at Home Depot a couple years back for, 7-8 months, something like that, because I'm bored in the evenings. And they didn't do like that, where it's like up to a certain amount. I don't remember what the amount was, but it was a decent chunk of change. Like you can comp something, you can give something away, you can give a discount up to certain amounts, and, like without having to go find a manager to do it. And I thought, well, that's interesting policy.
That makes sense.
It certainly does make people really happy. Like, well, I thought this thing was 15% off, and the sign over there says 5. You're just like, oh, it's 15% off now, then, isn't it?
Just as long as they don't make the joke about it being free, you're good, huh?
Yeah, and my favorite joke was always, there's not a price tag on this. Does that mean it's free?
Yes, that's how retail works.
As long as you can beat that security guy to your car, you bet it is.
We went and bought vegetables. Oh my God.
He's walking with a cane, and he's not looking too good. So I got a good chance of making it to the car. Just yank the cane out from under him on the way out the door.
Just sweep the leg.
Exactly.
Everyone at Walmart had a brand new Vizio. That must have been their Black Friday thing. Brand new, huge, not as big as yours, not as big as the IMAX that Mike has, that I have, but it was nice big TV. And we went in for veggies, and the guy on the way out, we just looked like quick cursory glance, like veggies. Nobody's even in that section today. What are you doing? And where's your TV? It was like, what's going on here? What am I missing?
I got some broccoli for 50 cents a pound.
He's with receipts. He looks at me. I'm like, "Do you need my receipt? It's just vegetables." And he's just like, he's stunned for a second, like,
what?
I guess you're all right. Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I never give him my receipt. It's just fun. It's fun to say no. They ask so nice. Could I see your receipt, please, sir?
No. They did their
and
job
I keep walking. Yeah, and then they're like, "Well, sir, I need to see your receipt." No,
you don't.
I do. I'm such a people.
No, if they ask nice, I guess sometimes I do, but sometimes they're kind of snooty about it, like they've got a right to look at it and like, bite me.
My thing is generally I'm listening to something. I'm listening to a podcast or music anyway. So I assume they ask for my receipt. So I just like hold it up to them. If they grab it, fine. If not, I just keep on walking. Like I don't generally hear what they're saying anyhow.
Yeah, I don't do it. They did that once at a Comp USA. I don't know. Do they still have those places?
They did recently.
In Atlanta. I remember I was in Atlanta once. And I was standing there, and the guy was at the door. The place was empty. It was like early in the morning, right? So they got the checker guy at the door, and I'm at the registers, and the registers are sort of lined up. I mean, you have a row of registers here, and the door is right here. Once you pass the registers, there's nowhere else to go but out, okay? He's standing there, and I'm at the first register. He's 10 feet away from me. He's looking at me go through the register. I go through the register, and as I go through the door, he says, "Can I see your receipt, please?"
No.
And I'm like, are you out of your freaking mind? I mean, I just waved at you, and I'm standing here at the register paying for this shit, and now you want to 3 feet later?
And he's back behind you and say,
well, he's like, we need
to the register, I'll print your copy.
Well, he's like, we need to see your receipt. So I just because I was frustrated, I put myself spread eagle on the wall, on the door, and dropped my bag, and said, go for it, search me, strip me, whatever.
It's kind of dickish.
I can't take you anywhere.
No, you can't.
I'm not going anywhere. Note to self: never shopping with Carlton.
No, go shopping with Carlton and walk like 15 feet behind him and get pictures of that. Like, look what this guy was doing today.
Right, and then get me in the newspaper there or something.
You're white and of a certain age. No one would ever hassle you. I'm just walk out with the Vizio and the computer.
No, not true. Us old guys,
sorry.
They know we're the ones that steal. It's kind of like what was his name on Seinfeld? Was it what's his name's uncle on Seinfeld? Remember that stole the books from the bookstore?
Oh, that's funny though.
Oh yeah, like all the old people would steal the books because nobody ever stopped them, and yeah.
That makes sense though, old people.
It does. They didn't have the money to buy the books, so they would go,
So here's the thing. Brandon and I were discussing this yesterday, and I think maybe some today, about whether or not like certain holidays like Thanksgiving should, or like what are your opinions? Should companies not have employees working on Thanksgiving or Christmas so they can spend time with their families or whoever, or is that just thing they shouldn't worry about? What is your take on that?
Well, I've seen a lot of people, especially on Facebook, Reddit, elsewhere, talking about how they shouldn't be opening and people should just boycott and not shop. And another friend of mine posted a link to somebody's blog post where they were talking about how we shouldn't shame people about shopping on Thanksgiving. Some people are single and they don't have family to go out with, and some of the people need the money who are working and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know.
My thought
I don't do it either way. So
the other day, I guess yesterday, we went to Walmart and. No, it was Thanksgiving.
We went on Thanksgiving.
It was Thanksgiving night. It was
veggies,
because we were just getting those vegetables. It was way late that evening, and I said something effective. I wonder how many of these people that are here crowding in the aisles for toys and TVs are the same ones bitching about how the store shouldn't be open today. There's no way to really know that, but I imagine there's a number of people who are complaining about that.
Hypocrisy on the internet? No.
What is that?
I heard that's a thing. I heard that's a thing, but it might be a conspiracy. Mike, can you get on that for us?
Clear my schedule. Someone on the internet is wrong. Love that. It's so funny. It's on the phone. Clear my schedule.
So I expect all you guys are gonna watch when I have my G-Man interview, which is coming up hopefully shortly.
That?
Well, he said right after Thanksgiving, so I'll give him the weekend, and then we'll need to pick a day.
Who is G-Man?
Oh
yeah,
my
I was just
God!
Gonna say, I can't remember. Is that the Christian YouTuber?
Yes, it's the Christian idiot. I mean, totally. He's so far off the deep end. Just go to YouTube and look G-Man.
I hope he's not listening now, or he'll be like, "Fuck that guy." Oh.
Well, I did say that we are live. Hey, G-Man, nice guy. Yeah, he's a great guy. Awesome.
This is recorded for posterity,
Great. Yeah, thanks. Do we get to edit this? Sorry, G-Man.
No.
There is no editing.
No fixing this in post. Do I wish that were the case?
It wasn't. It wasn't. Okay. Let me officially for the record, G-Man, I actually was. That wasn't a personal attack. It's just I haven't heard you say anything intelligent yet in your videos.
Intelligence challenge.
Please surprise me. I will apologize publicly if you do.
You're kind of a fucking idiot. No offense.
It wasn't personal. Yeah, it wasn't personal. I got to shoot you. It's nothing personal.
He's kind of a fucking douchebag and his mother's a whore. Nothing personal.
Thanks. Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying.
Okay, my life's over now. Yeah. So, so it's on prayer. He's gonna show me his evidence that should convince an atheist that God exists based on answered prayer. This is going to be interesting and it's going to be short, but
let me know what you come up with.
I don't have any.
It's going to be anecdotal.
Good luck with that.
It's going to be undocumented anecdotal evidence. Got it.
But even if it is,
the research on prayer, right? We're praying for people who are heart patients, and they've done. I think it was even Templeton. They came out with actually people kind of do worse. If there is any effect, it seems to be a bad one.
Yeah, there were like 8 or so of those studies, but the most interesting one was somebody actually got funded, which amazes me. I want to read the proposals, but they actually got funded to do. They said, well, God, since He's omnipotent and omniscient and all that good stuff, isn't bound by time. They exist outside of time. So they did a retroactive prayer study. They actually had Christians pray for people who had the surgery 30 years ago. But they didn't know how they turned out, and they just got to pick who they wanted to pray for, and then they wanted to see if the ones that got prayed for were actually the same ones that got better, or whether they were statistically, because God knew they would be prayed for 40 years later. So yeah, so that was, and actually it did. There was enough of a statistical bent there that for whatever, you know. So yeah, there was. It seemed to imply that there was some validity, or not validity, correlation.
Whoa, because correlation equals cause. There we go.
There we are.
That were real. Yeah, we go. Last night we watched, speaking of holidays, apropos of nothing, we watched, what was it, 10 best evidence for UFOs or something? Oh,
cool.
God. It was just like name that logical fallacy for a half an hour straight or 45 minutes straight.
We came up with a game for that, which is the straw man fallacy drinking game.
I do not endorse that. That will kill you. Please do not do that.
For every straw man fallacy, you take a shot.
For every halo effect they mention, every, like, oh, this person is a jet fighter, that makes them a whatever expert. Like, for every halo effect and every straw man, like, do not take a shot. That is not safe.
My favorite bit of that, they were talking about a famous sighting in England. I think it was 5 Air Force enlistees, I don't know what the right airmen, I guess, were in some forest there in England and saw some UFO, right? And one of the guys commentators for the show said something like, "These are military people, so they're highly trained." And I was like, wait a minute, what? They're highly trained at dealing with UFOs? No, they're highly trained, like maybe how to kill people or run a radio, but
they're MPs. Like those are not even your jet fighter pilots. These are the guys guarding the forest in the middle of the night on the Air Force base. We're not talking the guy that designed the spy plane. They had that guy too, by the way, that worked on a spy plane.
Here you go, John.
One of the designers for the U2, yeah.
For your amusement, John, on the question side in the group chat, I put a link, and this is the 15. They took Miss USA contestants, the 15 worst answers to the question: should evolution be taught in schools?
Oh God!
Now it's short, so if you wanted to screen share and play this, we could all enjoy this on live.
How long is it?
It's not long. It's about 5 minutes total, not even.
Oh my God!
But they're great.
I think we can do this. Hang on. 1 second, I'll get that working for us because we can just share a YouTube video in the Hangout.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there we go. So if I missed this question, if you guys already answered, sorry, but do you celebrate Christmas, people, and if so, how? Like how do you go about all that with the gift giving and whatnot?
What holidays does anyone here celebrate?
I make sure everybody I know has a list of what I want.
I keep muting myself and forgetting about it. I was saying, well, I celebrate it by going to church and celebrating the birth of my Savior, Jesus Christ. So
I know what we do. I know what we do. Don't tell everybody about that.
No, I'm going to be going home and visiting family. It'll be nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they'll have some Christmassy, churchy kind of thing they go to. I'll probably sit at home.
I was thinking you could do like if you could go out and pick up a hooker and go to midnight mass, you could have some fun in the pew in the back.
They're not called hookers till they're dead. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that.
Right, she's a lady of the
If watching
evening.
Archer has taught me anything, it's they're call girls until they're dead, and then they're hookers.
Then they're hookers. But do you buy gifts? I still do the gift thing, I guess, because it's a cultural thing and because we have days off and we can meet up usually.
Yes, we do the gifts.
I buy gifts for the kids, yeah.
Well, let me tell you my assertion about Christmas. I think Christmas is essentially a secular holiday, and all that religious stuff is just, like stuff that's just hanging on by its fingernails. Because whenever you think of Christmas, you think of Santa Claus and presents and Christmas trees, stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with Christianity, and people will pay lip service to Away in a Manger and stuff like that. But even like the Christmas carols that most people like, it's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yeah.
Frosty, yeah.
Yeah, I'm always kind of amused when I see
Grandma got hit by a reindeer.
When I see people complaining about the whole saying Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas thing, because they're always complaining about it when they're at some sort of retail establishment. So basically, their complaint is that this crass commercialist society is not celebrating their holiday.
Yeah.
Or exploiting their holiday to make money.
Indeed.
I mean, really? Come on, guys.
Since that video is like 5.5 minutes long, I linked it here in the comments to that.
There you go.
To the event, so.
I'll definitely watch it. As someone whose family owns a Christmas tree farm, please buy Christmas trees regardless of your belief system. They are wonderful. No, I'm just kidding. I'd be happy for them just to stay in the forest. They're wonderful and beautiful, and they grow there. Huge, like the one they have at the White House. They get even bigger than that. They're glorious.
So that's the big question at Christmas for everybody, religion and non. Artificial tree or real tree?
Artificial. Real tree is such a hassle, man.
Mm.
Sorry, Brandy.
No. I'm happy for them to stay alive.
Well, there's some cognitive dissonance between you and your other half, huh?
Yeah, well, I'm the left brain. She's the right brain. So.
Yeah, see, I like a natural tree. My wife wants a silver artificial ugly thing.
The smell of the real tree, I like it. I'm okay if it lives in.
Yeah, you gotta clean up a few of the needles at the end of the year. So
I'm a single guy and I live alone, so I don't have a Christmas tree. I go to my family's. Like generally my sister's house for Christmas because she's got the biggest house and she's got a huge decorated Christmas tree. But at my house, there's
a real one.
There's not really any. I think she does get a real tree actually. I think
I've got a nice little fake Christmas tree with fiber optic cables running through it, and it puts on a little light show that's really pretty.
Cool.
You just gave me a great idea. There's our moneymaker for next Christmas is going to be a little desktop mini Christmas tree, and each of the branches you can charge has a USB charger on the end of it.
There you go.
That is very progressive and current.
Mm-hmm. Charlie Brown Christmas tree. Come on, somebody Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
I think somebody does sell the little
they do. They have
them,
Christmas
trees, yeah.
The cute little pathetic, yeah.
Cute little
I want to sell a Christmas tree that dances and sings only non-religious Christmas songs, like the sleigh ride song and all that kind of stuff.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
Here we are. Okay,
all those Rudolph and Santa songs.
Or there's that Jonathan Colton
around in
Christmas
women's
song.
Underwear.
There's a few Jonathan Colton Christmas songs which are super nerdy Christmas songs.
Ooh,
I don't know it.
Well,
I still
think the JC.
Yeah, I still think the best song of all time is yeah. Come on, I'm getting it. It's coming. I lost his damn name. I'm getting old. I'm getting senile. Come on, bigger. What's the hell's his name? Adam Sandler's Hanukkah song.
Hanukkah song.
That's
Put on your yarmulke. It's time to celebrate
Hanukkah. I think he did more for Judaism in that song than they've done in 2,000 years.
You have one night of presents. We have 8
crazy nights.
O.J. Simpson, not a Jew.
Not a Jew, yeah. Arthur Fonzarelli. Yeah, he named all these people that I didn't know were Jewish. It's so fun.
So, Mike Bowler, how about you? What do you do for Christmas?
The Christmastide.
We hang out at my brother's house, give the kids gifts, and then just kind of sit there and drink and get stupid.
Nice.
It's the best thing to do with your family. Drink and get stupid.
Yeah. See, but that's one of the things that Christians have over us, Mike, is they don't need to drink to get to that state.
True.
Bum, boom. Okay.
We need somebody ready with the, yeah, there you go.
There might be a G Plus Hangout effect.
Hang on, guys. I got an idea.
Sure.
Hang on.
There is.
Right.
Does anybody do the fighting about religion at their house, or the arguing, or the grumbling, or the conflict?
I'm taking a picture of my screen with all of us on there for my Christmas card that I'm just going to send to everybody. I had Smile. How did you know you were up front, Mike? Okay. Oh, cool. Thank you. All right. So now I've got one here. I got y'all guys here. Look at that.
Excellent.
Nice, Michael. You're right up there, screen center. Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay, awesome. That'll be our Christmas card. I'll send y'all a copy. Signed by the 12 apostles.
Are you guys all out to your families? I don't know if we talked about that or not. Like, do people know? Yeah, I am too.
Yeah, they're dead.
Oh shit.
Doesn't really matter now, does it?
Wah, wah.
Well, I have to say this is
okay.
This is the Irreverent Skeptics Hangout, and Carlton is keeping us on point.
Yes.
Doing my best, damn it. Do you ever go to a church? Do you ever go to a church? And I've done it a couple times, and it's difficult for me to do because I'm not an actor at heart. I'm shy at heart, believe it or not. But what's fun is go to a church on a Sunday morning, sit mid pew somewhere, and when the preacher says something really I don't want to say stupid, but something that's obviously without evidence, and he obviously couldn't possibly know, or
baseless. Yeah,
it's kind of right in the middle of the sermon. Raise your hand, like you're in school, and if he ignores you, then kind of go. I have kind of speak up. I have a question, and just stop the service right there and ask a question, and just say, "How do you know that?"
People don't do that.
Well, what's right? I know you can't.
I just died a little inside.
It's like it's a question, guys. I didn't shoot somebody.
So what you're telling me is this woman just got pregnant and nobody knew how, and they believed her when he said it was God.
Video where it didn't happen, Carlton.
Would this not be awesome to do on a Christmas Eve service, like a midnight mass, and get like 10 of us and seed the audience?
Sounds like a good way to get beat up.
Hey, he's right. Yeah.
Yeah, or everybody.
This shit doesn't make any sense.
With one and then the next guy's turn. Yeah, kind of like. Yeah, I think that would give them a Christmas to remember.
I don't think I would actually do that, but the idea makes me laugh.
I think that would make a perfect lead-in for the next week of being that obviously Satan was unhappy with our gathering last week, so he tried to disrupt it.
It would make the paper, guys. You guys, we'd be trending on Twitter.
Didn't PZ Myers
I will give you a shout out for that when you do it. That's as close to that as I'm touching.
PZ Myers did some kind of subversive communion thing like that.
Yeah, he had somebody go into a Catholic church and get a consecrated communion wafer and send it to him. Because apparently the consecrated wafer isn't supposed to leave the church, and he drove a nail through it and posted pictures online, and for years he got death threats from Catholics because they were talking about how he had put a nail through Jesus.
Oh yeah, it's body of Christ, right? Body of Christ.
It's a cracker.
He should be used to it by now anyway.
Yeah, it's like how they wanted him to respect their beliefs in his own actions in a way like as if he were under the rules that they were under.
You have no jurisdiction. Just
right. I mean, however crass you think the move might be, he doesn't have to follow your religious rules. It's so weird. So.
If things worked like that, everyone would have mandatory yoga every morning. Guess what, guys? Atheist Broad says mandatory yoga. Oh, you don't have jurisdiction. I said mandatory yoga.
Now here's another idea that's it's a little bit farther over the edge than the other one. I wouldn't do this one just because I don't like what I would have to do. But imagine going to communion, and just before you get up to go up to the front and get your little wafer and your little sip of wine, take a teaspoon of syrup of Ipecac. And try and time it right. So just right when you take that sip of wine and that wafer, you knew where we're going. I just wonder, would they think you were possessed? They would have to. I'm just wondering if I can get an exorcism out of them by doing that.
They did that on Family Guy.
People doing exorcisms. That's not the thing to be trifled with. People die in those all the time.
I thought you were going to say pour it into the goblet of wine so everybody else
so everybody does it. Oh, that's even better. Yeah, why punish myself? We'll give it to everybody else.
I'm a horrible man.
I'd like to officially say we're not advocating.
I don't advocate any of this.
Pretty sure that is.
Children, do not try this experiment at home.
But they did that on Family Guy.
Yeah.
Did they do that on Family Guy?
The Ipecac chugging competition.
Well, I remember that. Yeah, but not.
I'm gonna say about 15 years ago, I came up with the idea of that'd be a great way to go home sick from work is just to. I got some of that, and then I thought, I could just call in sick that day.
Hey, I'm not feeling well. I gotta go.
Puke on the copier. Yeah.
They don't have
Wouldn't you love to be the copier guy that shows up and has to clean that?
Now I have a job where it's like, hey, I'm sick today, so I'm working from my sofa. Just remote in. That's nice.
I just work for myself. I just stay in bed.
See, the reason I do that, I don't take off a sick day because I can use that for a vacation or a holiday later. So.
You realize this is public, right?
Yeah.
No, that's
PTO. That's how that works.
There goes John's job.
Our boss tells us that it's like, hey, you can just work at home if you want. You can stay that day and use it up later.
PTO.
I don't feel well.
This coming month, I'll be like, hey, you got 3 sick days left for this year. You might want to use those up.
Okay.
Then I'm taking these days off.
I'm going to fess up to something else that'll probably get me in trouble somewhere down the road, in the afterlife probably. Last February I was in the hospital, and it was a Catholic hospital. And, during my recovery days when I was, wandering around doing no good, I decided to wander down to the chapel, of course. And in the chapel was, up at the altar was a little wicker basket, and it was prayer requests where patients could or their family could write prayer requests and put these little fold-up pieces of paper into a wicker basket.
Wait, so can I guess? Did you write stop?
I took it upon myself to answer these requests.
Oh God!
I took them out of the basket, like somebody was like, my mother's dying of cancer. God, please heal her. I wrote no and God, and then put it back in the basket.
People can see this right now, right?
We can hear
I
you,
do.
right?
I know. Well, I granted some of the wishes. I want you to know I wasn't a hard ass all the way around. Some of them just seemed nice, and I said, okay, fine, but you're going to have to give me your left testicle. We'll save the whole thing, but yeah, but it was a lot of fun because there were about 20 of those. Nice, killed an hour for me. And so I thought people would probably be happy with that. They actually got an answer, that they weren't expecting, one way or the other. Okay, this got quiet real quick. You're not inviting me next week.
I don't know what to say to that.
I have nothing for that.
Yeah, I have nothing for this either.
Wow.
I get the joy out of sometimes thinking about stuff like that, but I have to say I don't ever do it. I don't ever do it. I just get happy thinking like that would have been funny and then not doing it.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I got some old sea stories I could tell, but never mind. We don't want to go there.
Right now, I'm distracted because I'm looking through WorldNet Daily's latest craziness.
WorldNet Daily, what did they say?
Well, they've been on a kick lately of talking about how there's a massive uprising of black mobs all over the country engaged in mob violence. They're very specific that they're black mobs.
Oh, the people are black.
It would be racist not to cover these, is what they say. Even though they...
Oh, I thought it was like a bunch of people dressed in black. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's black people mobbing, and it's like 3 incidents in the last year, and they say that it's an outbreak and that we got to watch out for black people.
3 times in a year?
They get points, extra points, if they mention Detroit by name. If they mention Detroit...
They're blaming Obama for some game that people are playing, the knockout game or whatever it's called. I don't know. Like the things that gangsters are doing, they're blaming Obama directly for them. And they just call him you-know-who now. It's very funny.
Is it thanksobama.com?
Yeah, he's like Voldemort for them. They won't even say his name. They just call him you-know-who, and that's all you need. Guess what you-know-who's doing now? Yeah. Thanks, Obama.
I stubbed my toe earlier. Thanks, Obama.
Yeah.
Hangnails.
I got
Thanks, Obama.
gastroenteritis. Thanks, Obama.
I have to admit, I will sometimes throw that out, like, I'm at work. Oh, my bill failed. Thanks, Obama. Who coded that? Well, yeah, I coded it, but I'm blaming him.
No, I started a Gmail account solely to sign up to a whole bunch of mailing lists for crazy people, like the Pat Robertson, his network, and World Daily, and this guy who calls himself the Public Advocate, who's really this big anti-gay crusader. So if you want to sign me up for any crazy people's mailing lists, the email is godlesshatemail@gmail.com.
Godless
hate
mail.
Go ahead and sign me up. I'll be fine with it.
Have you seen Richard Dawkins read his hate mail?
Yes.
John and I watched that clip the other day, and he's sitting fireside with his MacBook. Oh, it was so funny. He's sitting reading it from his MacBook, like, that's awesome. And he's reading it in such a nice voice, like, oh yeah, it's like burn in flames, die in a fire. Yours in Christ, Julia. Like,
what you need to do is flip the mail thing around on them. You need to go get and again, here we are live on TV, folks. But you need to go find a list of the administrators or teachers like at Liberty U, and sign them all up for Lesbian Gay Magazine quarterly, so that it comes to their work address, and then they get to explain their way out of it. That'll be some entertainment.
There was a story on. I want to say it was Snap Judgment.
No.
It was either Snap Judgment or This American Life. I want to say it was Snap Judgment, where a guy, he was a kid, he did that to his bully. As a kid, he signed his boy up for some gay men's magazine, and the kid got the shit beat out of him by his father. It was on the Moth. That's what it was. It was on the Moth.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and that kid got his skull cracked and his arm in a cast, and I'm like, yeah, that. As funny as that seems, like that actually could be the kind of consequence that could happen for something.
Well, that explains where the bully comes from, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It answers a lot of questions with that, but still, like, wow.
That is, talk about unintended consequences. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, that was something.
Yeah, sign them up for life in a monastery or something. Yeah. Well, that would be kind of cute. We can do it to our own too. We have a sense of humor. So sign up Richard Dawkins for joining a monastery, the Trappist monks or something. Can you sign up by email? I don't think so. Monks are us.
So I think we're gonna wrap it up now because we're heading down to the protest here in a little bit. In fact,
We're heading down where?
There's a protest for a drone warfare protest, and I was like, oh, I want to check that out.
Pro or con?
Presumably con, but I don't know. Like, I guess
we'll see.
Yay, drones!
I will
drones. Mindless
I'll
killing
report back
from
to
a
you
distance.
next week. So.
Killing it's like a video game, only better.
I think it'd be great if we get down there and there's some sizable group of people and a bunch of little quadricopter things flying around.
Oh.
That would be excellent.
We have misunderstood.
With like a squirt gun attached to it.
Oh, that was somebody mentioned that the other night, and I'm sorry to say this wasn't my idea, but it certainly would fit right in. But this was somebody else that actually thought of this. I said, what a great idea. It's like the next time somebody walks on a tightrope, like across the Grand Canyon or any large space, right, on a tightrope, hassle them with a remote helicopter. Just buzzing them around their head.
Jesus, that's terrible.
Maybe you could attach a mini paintball gun to it.
Wasn't that the guy who did that
Carlton's our new
recently?
Sultan of Evil.
Who was the guy? One of the Walenda brothers or something did that recently, and he spent the whole time praising God and Jesus as he walked across.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I can picture you doing that with a helicopter, and he'd be like, "Oh Jesus!"
Hey, have you guys seen that clip from a few years ago of in Russia? I believe it was Kasparov or something like that. He was giving a speech, and some guy dressed a toy helicopter up as a giant penis and flew it in over him.
To it.
Oh man! Now you know what would really be mean though is in that little helicopter with the guys walking across the Grand Canyon. In the little helicopter, put a speaker in there, and as the guy starts to kind of lose his balance a little bit, the little voice from the helicopter goes, "Grab on, I'll save you."
Goodbye, cruel world.
Okay. All right. So there was this one time, I got to tell you this story that we're on live, and I've already gone so far gone, I got to tell you another one.
Oh, no.
It was nice knowing you before you were apprehended. I'm just.
Yeah.
I know. This is.
So just like to make
cigarettes
clear,
and candy bars.
make clear to law enforcement and government officials that I am not condoning whatever this is.
And I don't know his real name or where he is. I'm just saying. You people already know that.
I'm still getting paid for my appearance, right? Okay.
The checks are coming.
The check will be in the mail.
Yeah. Okay. Nah, never mind. I won't tell you that. I'll save that for another week.
Aw. Okay.
We'll end it on that blue balls note then.
Gotta keep you waiting. Gotta keep you wanting more.
Little mystery.
That's right.
Tease it.